Hi, so in this video, I'm going to show you the difference between three main keywords, and those are actually uh, define versus constant versus uh, constant expression. So these are the three things which is actually, let me just rewrite. Yeah. So mainly define basically the macro. Okay. So actually these three keywords are used mainly to define constants. Okay. So you may find to if a variable needs to be made constant in a program. Okay. And also in some cases the function needs to be made constant. So that is why these three keywords are actually used. Now coming to the point that which one is much more effective, or if I may say that which one is most preferred, or which one is most recommended. Okay, so well, three of them are correct, okay, in their own way. Okay, but there are a few differences, and that is why I have thought that why not just uh, you know make this as a topic to discuss. Okay, so starting with define. Okay, so now coming well, the first is define. So in define is a macro, okay, which, okay, so before that, this is the function, I mean this is the entire code, okay, which I'll explain one by one. Okay, but before going into the code, let me just first discuss what is the, what do we mean by define. Okay, so define, let's say if I want to define pi as 3.14. okay, and if I want to use it somewhere, then I can just call it. Okay, and then I can, so let me just do that. Okay, yeah, yeah, and let me just do that. Okay, and I'm going to just, sorry, yeah, so now you can find that this is the value 3.14. Okay, but well, defining macros, okay, define this is called actually a macro. Okay, and this, yes, this is actually used in C mainly. Okay, but well, in C++ we have the option to use constant, that is const, and the second one is const expression, which is const expr. Okay, so now let me just comment it, and coming to this defining variables. Okay, so I would first uncomment this. Okay, so here I have actually taken multiple cases to understand that what is the, so now it is probably clear that if you are using C++, so it is recommended to use const or const expression. Okay, now which one is recommended and which one is preferred, whatever. Okay, so that is what we are going to actually see. Okay, so I have taken actually 6 cases, okay, in which I have declared 3 functions, okay, as const and const expression. Okay, const and then const expression and then const, I mean non-constant function. Okay, so this has to be I'm again creating 3 variables, which is const and const expression. Okay, and then 26 number. Okay, that is the non-constant variable. Now for the first case, basically here the square one, okay, square one is the const function over here. Okay, line number 7 to 9, and here you can find basically it's a square. Okay, so a square variable, it is actually returning variable square. Okay, so yeah, so let's say 3, so 3 to multiplied by 3 is 9. Okay, 3 to the power 2 is 9. Okay, now coming to the function, So here actually it is okay expression. Okay. And the second one is actually variable 5. Okay. So square one is again like a constant function, and variable 2 is actually a constant expression. So here it is okay. Okay, because it's a const function, so no problem in case of const expression. Okay, I mean const and const expression. Okay, now in case of the variable 6, here also it is okay, but it may be evaluated during the runtime. Okay, because of the fact that the variable is non-constant, and that is what is actually here. I mean it is non-constant, I mean no const is actually prefixed over here. Okay, the next case is actually assigning const function. Okay, basically assigning a constant function to a constant expression variable. Okay, so if the variable is constant expression type, and if you actually assigning a constant function, okay, so in that situation you would actually find an error, and the reason being is that call to non-constant expression. Okay, and function. Okay, so because of the fact that uh, square one is constant function. Okay, so that is why it is giving error. Okay, it is not a constant expression function. That is the reason. Okay, so the next is so that is why it is giving error actually in 3 cases. Okay, now the next case is actually assigning a const expression function, okay, to a const variable. Okay, so basically we have seen so far for the const function. Now we are going to see const expression function, which is square 2. Okay, so when this is actually assigned to a const variable, so you can find that it is going to be okay, and okay. Why? I'll tell you. Because in first two scenario, in the first two line, it is going to give okay, because like a const variable is actually considering const expression as constant. Okay, but not vice versa. Okay, I mean in case of, so that is what the conclusion is, which I will be actually saying it in the end. Okay, so, but in case of like 41, I mean in case of this line, I mean you would actually find a problem related to that. It may evaluate during the runtime. Okay, and so that is the problem with the last line. Now coming to the fourth case, so here actually we are assigning a const expression function, again like the square 2, okay, to const expression variable. Okay, by the way, in these 3 functions I have only changed the you know this prefix part, you can say. I mean, okay, I mean before the data type. Okay, you are actually quoting it as const or const expression. Okay, so in fourth case we are actually getting to see that there is no problem with you know uh, 44 line number and 45 number. Okay, I mean, yeah, so with this there is no problem. So the thing is actually the square 2 is a const expression function, so there is no problem. And moreover, variable 1 and variable 2 are actually constant expression, means both as in like const, so not a problem. But in case of variable 3, it is going to give a problem, because no matter the function is a const expression which is of same type as variable, but still, due to the fact that the variable is a non-const function or non-const expression, okay, the variable 3, which actually has been defined over here, and that is why it is giving as warning that the int variable 3 is not const, okay, or const expression, whatever, for that matter. So that is why it is giving error. Now coming to the next case, that is, sorry, yeah, so in this case we will actually see that we are actually assigning a non-constant or non-constant expression function, okay, which is square 3, and we have seen it over here, okay, in line number 17 to 19. So here we are actually not, you know, quoting it as a const or const expression function. So here actually, you know, it doesn't matter for a const variable that, you know, irrespective that the function is no matter the function is a non-constant function, okay. So yeah, so that is why in all these three cases it is actually fine, but again, like, it will be evaluated in the runtime, okay. So that is the scenario actually, you know. Here you may find that variable 3 could also be the reason, okay, because it is also a non-const or non-const expression function. But this is actually, you know, it is actually leaving it to, you know, runtime. I mean, there are two times, one is compile time and is runtime, so it is actually leaving it to runtime, okay. So and the last case is, sorry, the last, yeah, so the last case is again, like, you know, you are actually defining a non-const function to a constant expression function. So in all these three cases, actually it is not going to take it is going to give error, because in case of const expression you are actually, you know, creating an error because of the fact that the function itself is a non-const function, okay. So yeah, I mean, in first two cases, variable 1 and variable 2 is acceptable, I mean, but the function itself is a problem, okay. So but the variable 3, you know, is also a non-const function, so this is a problem, which was actually the case where, yeah, in 46, okay. So due to the variable, the problem was due to the variable, not due to the function. And here due to the fact here entirely it was due to the function, okay. So that is the problem, okay. I mean, here also in case of const expression, the function was the reason, okay, because of the fact that it is a const function, okay. So if I summarize that, you know, there are a few things, okay. Yeah, let me write it down. So first is that, you know, a const or non-const non-const function or variable is a problem to const expression, I mean variable, okay. And in case of const variable, okay, I mean, the problem is only with, I mean, the error situation is only with I mean, actually, you know, there is actually there is no problem with the const variable, okay. You may see that in case of, you know, const variables, okay, there is actually no error, okay, but, you know, it is going to be evaluated or may be evaluated. So let's say a non-const function is actually, you know, assigned to a const variable. So in this situation, whether it is okay, of course, but it is going to be may be evaluated. I'm sorry, it is going to be evaluated, okay. A non-constant function is actually, you know, getting fetched, I mean getting here, so it is going to be evaluated, okay, in run time, okay. But if the same situation, if this same situation is there, but in case of non-constant I mean variable, if it is assigned to a const variable, then it is going to be maybe, okay. So this is the major actually, you know, difference between these two, okay. That in both the situations, actually, you know, a const variable, it has been defined. So what is the end goal is that, you know, whenever you are actually defining a const expression variable, you have to be very much careful about, like, assigning a const expression with, const expression function with const expression argument. Okay, this would be the best scenario. Okay, of course it takes the const expression function, okay, which is actually the square 2, okay, with the variable 1. Okay, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, so it actually, yeah, so with const or const expression argument, so this is actually fine. Okay, and in case of const variable, you non-const function or non-const variable, it doesn't matter in case of const, but in case of const expression it is very critical. So when the summary is actually defined, it should be only in case of C. Okay, not recommended in C++. Okay, this has to be noted. Okay, please note, and used in C. Okay, and it is not recommended in C++. I'm not saying you should not, but yeah, it is not recommended. Okay, so yeah, this is the actually summary of the difference between define, const and const expression. Okay, so any sort of doubt you have or any sort of discussion you want, please comment below. And yeah, please subscribe the channel, and please like the video and share the video. Okay, this is a very important concept which probably many of us needs to know if you are a C++ beginner, or if you really want to pursue C++ language in future projects, in sort of projects like probably application development, AI, or yeah, in case of blockchain it is very much important because it deals with security. Okay, so yeah, thank you and stay tuned. See you in the next video. Thank you.